Walk down the aisle of any pharmacy or grocery store, and you'll be greeted by rows upon rows of multivitamins promising everything from enhanced immunity and glowing skin to boosted energy, sharper memory, and even longevity. The labels are colorful, the claims are bold, and the message is clear. If you want to be healthy, you need to take your daily multivitamin. It's no wonder, then, that millions of Americans have bought into the idea, spending billions of dollars every year on these tiny pills. But as the popularity of multivitamins continues to grow, so do the questions. Are they actually doing what they promise? Or are they just expensive placebos that offer peace of mind but little physical benefit? The truth is far more complex than the supplement industry would like you to believe. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to learn more useful information about nutrition and not miss new videos. To understand whether multivitamins are truly effective, we first have to examine what they are and what they're meant to do. Multivitamins are dietary supplements that typically contain a combination of essential vitamins and minerals, such as vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, B-complex vitamins, calcium, iron, magnesium, and zinc, usually at levels close to or exceeding the daily recommended intake. They come in a variety of forms including tablets, capsules, powders, and gummies. The idea behind them is to supplement the diet, filling in any nutritional gaps that might be present due to poor eating habits, restrictive diets, or medical conditions that impair nutrient absorption. In theory, this sounds like a simple and effective way to ensure optimal health. In practice, however, it's not so straightforward. For one thing, the average person who eats a reasonably balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats, is already getting most of the nutrients they need. For these individuals, adding a multivitamin may offer little or no additional benefit. In fact, multiple large-scale studies have demonstrated that multivitamins do not significantly lower the risk of chronic diseases such as heart disease, cancer, or cognitive decline in healthy individuals. One of the most well-known studies on this topic is the Physicians' Health Study 2, which followed over 14,000 male physicians for more than a decade. The researchers found that while there was a slight reduction in overall cancer risk among those who took a daily multivitamin, there was no significant impact on heart disease, stroke, or cognitive performance. Similarly, a comprehensive review published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology in 2018 analyzed data from dozens of clinical trials and concluded that most multivitamins and mineral supplements do not prevent cardiovascular disease, cancer, or premature death. These findings have led many experts to question the value of multivitamin supplementation for the general population. However, that doesn't mean multivitamins are entirely useless. There are certain groups of people for whom these supplements can be incredibly beneficial. Pregnant women, for example, are routinely advised to take prenatal vitamins that contain folic acid, iron, and other nutrients critical to fetal development. Deficiencies in folic acid during pregnancy can lead to serious birth defects such as spina bifida and anencephaly, which is why supplementation is considered a standard medical recommendation. Older adults may also benefit from multivitamins, especially those that include vitamin B12 and vitamin D. As we age, the body's ability to absorb these nutrients from food naturally decreases, making supplementation a helpful strategy to maintain adequate levels. People with certain medical conditions, such as celiac disease, Crohn's disease, or those who have undergone gastric bypass surgery may also struggle to absorb key nutrients and may require supplements as part of their treatment plan. Similarly, individuals who follow strict vegan or vegetarian diets may need to supplement with vitamin B12, iron, or omega-3 fatty acids, since these nutrients are primarily found in animal-based foods. In these specific cases, multivitamins can fill a genuine nutritional gap and support overall health. But for the average person who is relatively healthy and eats a varied diet, the evidence suggests that multivitamins may offer little more than a psychological benefit. And that's where another issue arises, the licensing effect. This term refers to the phenomenon in which people feel justified in making unhealthy lifestyle choices because they've taken a supplement. Someone might skip a workout or opt for fast food instead of a balanced meal because they believe their multivitamin has them covered. Unfortunately, this can lead to a net negative effect on health, as the reliance on pills distracts from the fundamental importance of real food, regular physical activity, and other wellness habits. Adding to the concern is the lack of stringent regulation in the supplement industry. In the United States, dietary supplements are not required to undergo the same rigorous testing for safety and effectiveness as prescription medications. This means that manufacturers can sell products without prior approval from the FDA, leading to inconsistencies in quality, potency, and labeling. Independent studies have found that some multivitamins contain more or less of the listed ingredients, while others are contaminated with heavy metals or unlisted substances. All of this contributes to growing skepticism about the reliability and necessity of multivitamin supplements. Beyond the question of whether multivitamins work lies a deeper concern: how they are marketed and understood by the public. Many supplement companies rely on aggressive advertising to promote the idea that taking a daily multivitamin is not just beneficial but essential for modern living. These ads often play on fears of nutrient deficiencies, low energy, stress, and aging. They imply that your diet alone is never enough, and that without supplementation, you're at constant risk of falling short. But the reality is that true vitamin and mineral deficiencies are relatively rare in developed countries among people who have access to a variety of foods. Most of the nutrients we need are abundant in everyday meals if those meals are balanced and varied. A breakfast of fortified cereal with milk, a lunch of salad with beans and whole grains, and a dinner with vegetables and protein can provide nearly all the vitamins and minerals your body requires. The illusion that multivitamins are essential often comes from a misunderstanding of how recommended daily allowances, RDAs, work. RDAs are set to cover the needs of the vast majority of the population, not to indicate the minimum required for survival. Multivitamin formulations often provide 100% or more of these values, but that doesn't mean extra is better. In fact, with some nutrients, more can be worse. Fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K are stored in the body and can build up to toxic levels over time if consumed in excess. Vitamin A toxicity, for example, can cause liver damage, headaches, and even blurred vision. High doses of vitamin E have been linked in some studies to an increased risk of prostate cancer and hemorrhagic stroke. Even too much iron can be dangerous, especially for people who do not have an iron deficiency, leading to gastrointestinal distress and damage to internal organs over time. The potential risks of oversupplementation underscore the need to approach vitamins with the same caution as we do with medication. Just because something is available over the counter doesn't mean it's completely harmless. Another issue is the quality and source of ingredients. Not all vitamins are created equal. Some are derived from whole foods, while others are synthesized in labs. The bioavailability, or how well the body can absorb and use a nutrient, varies widely depending on the form of the vitamin. For example, the synthetic form of vitamin E, called D-alpha-tocopherol, is less biologically active than the natural form, D-alpha-tocopherol. Similarly, some forms of magnesium, like magnesium oxide, are poorly absorbed compared to others, like magnesium citrate. Unfortunately, many low-cost multivitamins use cheaper, less absorbable forms of nutrients, meaning you might not be getting the benefit you expect even if the label looks impressive. Transparency is another big problem. Because supplements are not tightly regulated, manufacturers aren't required to prove their claims or submit their products for testing. This means consumers must trust that the label is accurate. Third-party testing by organizations like USP, US Pharmacopeia, NSF International, or Consumer Lab can help verify quality, but not all brands go through such scrutiny. Without these certifications, it's hard to be sure what you're actually putting into your body. Moreover, the idea of one-size-fits-all supplementation is fundamentally flawed. Each person has a unique nutritional profile based on age, sex, weight, activity level, health conditions, and dietary patterns. A sedentary 70-year-old woman and an athletic 25-year-old man have vastly different nutritional needs, yet they might be taking the exact same multivitamin. Personalized nutrition, based on blood tests, lifestyle data, and genetic information, is an emerging field that may eventually make generic multivitamins obsolete. Companies are beginning to offer tailored supplement regimens based on individual biomarkers, but this is still a developing area and often expensive. Until then, taking a general multivitamin may not do much harm in moderate doses, but it also may not offer any real benefit if it doesn't align with your specific needs. It's worth noting that in some cases, doctors do recommend multivitamins as a kind of nutritional insurance, particularly for people with restricted diets, chronic illnesses, or those recovering from surgery or illness. But this is usually done on a case-by-case basis, with attention to specific deficiencies or lab results, not a blanket recommendation. Simply put, using multivitamins as a substitute for healthy eating is misguided. No pill can replicate the complex combination of fiber, phytonutrients, antioxidants, and other bioactive compounds found in whole foods. A carrot isn't just a source of vitamin A, it also contains a range of plant compounds that work together in ways we don't fully understand yet. Similarly, citrus fruits offer not only vitamin C, but also flavonoids and soluble fiber, which support immune health and digestion. Supplements lack this natural synergy. The public perception of multivitamins as a safety net is also influenced by the idea that more is better, a belief deeply ingrained in many cultures, particularly in consumer-driven societies. People are constantly bombarded with messages suggesting that optimal health can be achieved through supplementation. Influencers, celebrities, and even some healthcare providers endorse specific brands or personalized vitamin packs, reinforcing the idea that taking a handful of pills daily is synonymous with wellness. Social media platforms are filled with polished images of morning routines that include multivitamins laid out next to green juices and yoga mats. This aesthetic appeal, combined with fear-based marketing that suggests modern food is devoid of nutrients, persuades many individuals that their bodies are starving for vitamins unless they supplement. However, this narrative oversimplifies nutrition and ignores the core problem: poor diet quality. Instead of addressing unhealthy eating habits and lack of fresh produce in daily meals, many people seek a quick fix through supplements. This mentality shifts the focus from long-term health behaviors like cooking balanced meals, eating a variety of colorful vegetables, or learning portion control, toward dependency on pills as shortcuts. In fact, numerous studies have demonstrated that nutrients work best when consumed in the context of food. For example, the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K is enhanced when taken with healthy fats, which are naturally present in whole meals but absent from many supplement pills. Similarly, the antioxidants found in fruits and vegetables are more potent when consumed in their natural matrix, working synergistically with fiber, water, and other compounds. This is why dietitians and public health experts emphasize food first as the primary strategy for nutrition. Another concern that's rarely discussed is the economic angle of the multivitamin industry. With billions in annual revenue, it's no surprise that supplement companies aggressively protect their market. Advertising budgets, lobbying, and partnerships with wellness influencers ensure continued public trust and demand. But this economic influence often skews public understanding of what's truly necessary. Instead of being viewed as optional or conditional, multivitamins are now treated like a daily requirement, even though the evidence doesn't support such a universal need. There's also a widespread misconception that if a multivitamin doesn't help, at least it can't hurt. But that's not entirely true. As mentioned earlier, high doses of certain vitamins can be toxic. While acute toxicity is rare with over-the-counter multivitamins, chronic overconsumption, especially in people who take multiple supplements at once, can lead to long-term health problems. For example, too much vitamin A can cause liver damage and bone thinning. Excess iron can accumulate and damage organs in individuals with hereditary hemochromatosis. High calcium supplementation has been linked to an increased risk of kidney stones and cardiovascular disease. These risks are compounded when individuals take other fortified products like protein powders, energy drinks, or bars that also contain added vitamins and minerals. Without awareness or guidance, it's easy to exceed safe levels of intake. Children are particularly vulnerable, especially since many gummy multivitamins are marketed like candy. Accidental ingestion of large quantities can lead to serious health emergencies, including iron poisoning, which is one of the leading causes of supplement-related fatalities in young children. While adult toxicity is less common, the cumulative effects of taking unnecessary supplements over years or decades are still being studied. Adding to the complexity is the placebo effect. Some people report feeling better after starting a multivitamin, experiencing more energy, sharper focus, or improved mood. These effects are real to the individual, but they're not always due to the supplement's content. Rather, they often result from the psychological expectation of benefit. When someone believes they're doing something good for their body, they may perceive a positive change regardless of any physiological effect. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. Placebo responses can enhance well-being, but it's important to understand that they are not the same as scientifically proven outcomes. Feeling better does not necessarily mean your health markers are improving. True health should be measured not just by perception, but by objective metrics like blood tests, nutrient levels, and long-term disease risk. The takeaway here is that while multivitamins might offer a small benefit to certain individuals, especially those at risk of deficiencies, they are not miracle pills. They cannot compensate for a poor diet, chronic stress, lack of sleep, or a sedentary lifestyle. In the hierarchy of healthy living, they should be considered a supplement, an optional addition to an already strong foundation built on whole foods, physical activity, and regular medical care. When used thoughtfully, under medical guidance, and based on individual needs, multivitamins can play a supportive role. But when used as a daily ritual based on habit or hype, they may be doing little more than creating a false sense of security. So where does that leave us in the multivitamin debate? Should we throw away our daily supplements and never look back? Or is there still room for them in a responsible health routine? The answer, like much in nutrition science, is not black and white. It lies in context, balance, and individualized needs. For people with specific dietary limitations, chronic conditions, increased nutrient needs, or limited access to a variety of fresh foods, multivitamins can be a helpful tool. In fact, public health organizations in many countries recommend certain supplements for at-risk populations. Folic acid for women of childbearing age, vitamin D for individuals living in northern climates or those who rarely get sun exposure, and iron supplements for those with anemia are all valid and evidence-based interventions. However, the idea that every person, regardless of health status or diet, should take a daily multivitamin as a preventative measure is not supported by current scientific consensus. Major health authorities, including the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, have concluded that there is insufficient evidence to recommend multivitamin supplementation for the prevention of chronic diseases like heart disease or cancer in healthy adults. That doesn't mean vitamins aren't important. It means the way we obtain them matters. Real nutrition is complex. It's about more than just checking off boxes on a label or hitting your RDAs. It's about how nutrients interact with one another in the body, how they're absorbed and metabolized, and how lifestyle choices affect your nutritional needs. Food provides this complexity in a way that pills can't replicate. A multivitamin might contain 100% of your daily vitamin C, but it doesn't include the fiber, enzymes, flavonoids, and cofactors found in a single orange that help your body actually use that vitamin C effectively. Moreover, food gives you more than just nutrients. It gives you habits. Cooking meals, eating with others, trying new ingredients, and learning how different foods affect your body all contribute to a sustainable, long-term approach to health. No supplement can replace the skills and awareness that come from paying attention to what you eat and how it makes you feel. Instead of relying on supplements as a safety net, it's more beneficial to focus on building a diet rich in whole, minimally processed foods. Think fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, whole grains, fish, and lean meats. These provide not only the full spectrum of essential nutrients but also the balance of protein, fiber, and healthy fats that your body needs to thrive. Additionally, lifestyle factors such as physical activity, stress management, hydration, and quality sleep play critical roles in nutrient absorption and overall wellness. It's also important to recognize that nutrition science is constantly evolving. What we believe about vitamins and supplements today may change in the future as new research emerges. That's why it's essential to remain skeptical of miracle claims and stay informed through credible sources. If you're considering taking a multivitamin or any supplement, talk to a healthcare provider or registered dietitian. They can help assess your actual needs, recommend appropriate testing if necessary, and guide you towards supplements that are safe, effective, and tailored to you. Don't rely on marketing or anecdotal stories to guide your health decisions. Everyone's body is different, and what works for one person may be unnecessary or even harmful for another. In conclusion, multivitamins are not inherently a scam, but they're also not the universal solution they're often made out to be. For some people, they can be helpful. For many others, they are redundant or ineffective. The best approach is to treat them as what they are: supplements, not substitutes. When used wisely and in the right context, they can support health, but they are not a shortcut to wellness. True health doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from a consistent, intentional commitment to nourishing your body with real food, moving it regularly, resting it adequately, and caring for it holistically. So before you reach for another multivitamin, ask yourself, am I treating the cause or just masking the symptoms? Am I building my health from the inside out or relying on a pill to patch the cracks? In the end, the choice is yours, but let it be an informed one.